Okay, welcome to Podcast of Faith Part 2. We spoke yesterday and we continue. She's going to talk about her painting. So, Grace, is it Gracia? Gracia. I love that name. She did this beautiful painting. Look at this lovely painting. Is a medium, what is the medium? Is that oil?
Oil.
Oil painting. So she'll tell the story behind this lovely painting and a little bit about her father's side of the family. Okay.
This buffalo was born and raised on what was then called the Flathead Reservation in northwestern Montana, and he lived all his life. I wish I could remember the year, but he he was there until the 1960s when he died. But he was raised there and was very appreciated and loved by the Indians. And he was on the National Bison Range preserve for buffalo.
Yeah.
And I saw him when I was a child and all my growing up years. Anytime anyone came from out of state, we'd take him to see the buffalo. And his name was Big Medicine.
Ooh.
And so and that had an Indian word for it, which at one time I used to know, but I can't find it. And for some reason, no one else seems to know it anymore either. Because I tried when I was at the reservation last to find out, and they looked at me like I was speaking Greek.
But
So,
Big Mess is beautiful.
so he is Big Medicine, and he is an unusual bison in that he is not an albino. He has a black top knot and horns, and of course his hair is white and his eyes are blue. If he was a true albino, he'd have
Yeah,
pink eyes. So he's just
brilliant.
Big Medicine. That's what he is.
Beautiful. And tell me a little bit about your father's side, because you said there you have some
Well, my
Indians on
father's
there.
family came. Some of them came from Canada,
Okay.
and that was my Normando family. My grandparents. My grandfather was born in Canada, and he was half French, and some Scotch Irish, and very Irish. And my grandmother was French, and Irish, and English. Anyway, she was born and raised there in the area, but he came down from Canada as a young boy with his parents, and that's another story. But this buffalo was important to me. I remember him from my early childhood, and he would stand by the fence and look at you and always just be friendly. You know, he just didn't move. He just stood there and watched the people. And anyway, as I got older, I had taken lots of painting lessons and art lessons, and I wanted to do a painting of him. And so for years, I collected pictures, and after he died, he was mounted and put into a museum in Helena, Montana,
Okay, so they can
which is the
see.
state capital.
Okay.
And he's there. I went there and took more pictures of him, and I have some of when he's young and his fur was real fluffy and
Yes.
long. And then as he got older and older, his hair got thin, and
So like the process that we all go through in age.
yeah, that's true. Anyway, I decided that I would paint him, and I got this large canvas ready, and I couldn't. I just waited, and after 4 years of studying this, I decided I'm going to do it today, and I had already prepared the background of the canvas because I knew I wanted it to be mysterious in the background, and that he would be not vicious and frightening, but to show his gentle nature and the mystique of his being an icon for the tribe
Yeah.
of the Flathead.
And the Flathead. Is that Flathead?
They were named that by Lewis and Clark because
Oh,
when they came to the Flathead Lake, when they came to the lake,
yeah.
they thought they had reached the ocean.
Oh,
It's so
okay.
large. And
Yeah.
then, of course, they discovered they weren't at the ocean at all.
Ocean.
But there were Flathead Indians.
Yeah.
They flattened their children's heads
Oh,
with a
okay.
rock.
That's not,
They thought the
Was-
Indians there were the Indians on the coast.
and that's
So they
different.
named the area the Flathead.
Okay.
It's just a name.
Just a
Nothing
name,
descriptive
right?
of it.
So in what the tribe you said you have in your father or family way back, the Indian tribe. What's the tribe that you're?
Salish, Kootenai, and Penderay.
Okay.
Penderay is P-E-N-D apostrophe O R I-E-L.
Something like yeah. And
Anyway.
so I have a couple of Native American friends, and they always talk about the spirit animal. Like we all have a spirit
We never
animal.
talked about
You
that
never
in
talk
our
about
family.
yeah.
We were, my dad was a very up and coming American.
Okay, so
And
he
He
yeah.
didn't, they raised beets, sugar beets. And,
Oh yeah.
they were not involved
In
Indian
Indians.
culture
Yeah,
as young people.
yes.
But he was what in Canada they called Métis, which is part white and part Indian.
Indian, okay.
And on the Flathead, they were not generally appreciated by the natives or the whites.
Oh, because yeah, when they make back
My dad made such a reputation of honesty and
Oh,
integrity and looking forwardness that he was respected by all
oh,
parties.
that's beautiful. What's your father's name?
His name was Rupert
Rupert.
Albert Normando.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I
yeah.
think he was named after Prince Albert.
Oh, yes. Albert, yeah.
Canadians had the
name,
royalty
right.
from Canada, from
From
England.
yeah.
So
That's awesome. So live up. So that's a good point. So no matter like we all God's children, but it doesn't matter whether you're half this or mixed or whatever. It's just you mentioned he had integrity. Was a good person, and people gonna remember that, right?
Oh, yes.
People not gonna remember like the main thing that's what type of person you were. So it's
and
just
he was just deeply loved by most
oh
everyone who
that's
ever knew him.
awesome. Yeah.
And so anyway, when I decided to do this painting, one morning I decided today is the day, and I got the paint onto
The canvas,
Yeah. and I drew him on, and then I began to paint, and in 4 hours
You did it
he
4
was
hours.
on the canvas.
Wow.
In 4 hours, I can't figure out. I mean, I can just remember I just painted furiously.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Yeah.
And I had to work on him for several days after that to get all the perspective correct,
Right.
to get his horns to tip right.
Yeah.
Little things that I had to fix. But for the most part, he was done. And he just arrived on the canvas. And
He's like, hurry! I need you to tell my
Yes.
story or get me out.
And at
That's
that
beautiful.
time, I
Yeah.
had no understanding whatsoever about Enoch, the prophet of the Old Testament.
Okay,
a prophet of
This
old.
is so important. She's going to tell you the biblical side of the story. So not only, moved by as a child seeing this bison, but she also, during that time, you have learned about the story of Enoch and you related. Yes.
I didn't learn this until long after.
Long
I
after.
had
Oh,
painted him.
oh, this is great. Okay.
And what I learned was that in Enoch, he mentions a white buffalo with black horns who would push the house of Israel together. And that is representative of Ephraim, the son of Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just in a little bit in awe of having this picture
Yeah.
and then discovering that it represents
The story
the
of
line of
the
Ephraim.
Ephraim. Wow. That's so powerful. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and your beautiful, talented art. It's
Thank
just
you.
amazing. The eyes are powerful and wow.
And if you walk across the room
Yeah,
with looking at the painting, his head turns and watches you.
it just moves. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful
Wow.
painting.